Hey y'all! Today we're talking about how to cycle an aquarium. A lot of new fish keepers don't realize that cycling an aquarium is very, very important, and they also don't know how to do it anyway. There's always a lot of questions on how to do this on my Instagram and on the Goldfish community forum. So I thought I'd make this quick little video and teach you guys how to cycle an aquarium. The past 7 weeks I have been cycling one of my own aquariums, so I have been fairly familiar with this, and this aquarium is the one that just finished cycling. Very exciting. So that aquarium just finished cycling. It took me 7 weeks to get that one ready and to have my ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite at 0, which is what you want. So that took a while, but it's finally done, and all my parameters are good, so I'm very, very happy about that. So the first thing when you're cycling an aquarium that you want to do is go ahead and get your aquarium ready. Put your substrate in, fill it with water, plant it however you want to plant it, get your filter going. A lot of new fish keepers think that if they just let the filter run a week or two, that is cycling, and that's not the case. Cycling is when your aquarium grows enough bacteria to support your fish. That's what you want. And at first, especially when you have a new aquarium, there is no bacteria in the aquarium. You usually, bacteria, the good bacteria that you want, grows on the surface of the aquarium, the glass, or the acrylic, whichever you have. It grows in your substrate, on your plants or your ornaments in the aquarium, grows in your filter. Your filter is probably the number one thing that needs to grow bacteria. That's what the water will circulate through, and it will make it, less harmful for the fish over time, especially with their waste products, especially with goldfish, because they are super, super messy. So in order, I found out with, this aquarium, some people recommend doing a fishless cycle, which means they just let the filter run for like 2 months with nothing in it. And, that can work, but I find it takes a lot longer to do than with fish. And, also any fish keeper, it drives you crazy when you have an empty aquarium and you always want fish in it. That's what they're for, and it drives you crazy when there's nothing in it. So I think it's beneficial to do a fish cycle, with fish. I think it's a lot easier, and, you just have to be willing to put in the time. It's not something for people that don't want to fool with an aquarium, or, they're somewhat lazy. You really have to be willing to put in the work. With the aquarium I showed you earlier, that aquarium took 7 weeks, like I said, to grow the bacteria. One of the first things that I did before I put any fish in it was other 60-gallon aquarium that has Josephine, Night, Lucy, and Comet has been up and running since last November, and it had some really good cycled media in it. And I took out some ceramic rings and some bio balls, the little plastic ones. I took out some of those and put in a separate, a little media bag that you can get, I think, at PetSmart for 99 cents. And I put it in my AquaClear, and that really helps boost your nitrifying bacteria that you need, and it makes the cycling process a lot easier, in my opinion, and it takes less amount of time to do as well. So after I got those ready, I did let the aquarium run about 2 or 3 days before I went out and got my black moor spike. I wanted him to produce ammonia for me so that my nitrifying bacteria in the filters would, want to eat it, and then, all my parameters would start going up, and I'd be able to see that something was going on. And so within about, 2 or 3 days of putting him in there, I got my first ammonia reading of 0.25, which isn't, really high, but, when a cycled aquarium, you don't want to see it. But because this one was cycling, I wasn't very worried, per se, about that. And, I never had any nitrate or nitrite. So I was doing daily water changes, and I need to stress that. When you have an aquarium that is cycling, it's very important that you keep up with your water parameters. And I use the API Freshwater Test Kit. You feel like a little chemist when you're getting the water samples and putting those little drops in it, My family calls me the little chemist because that's all I do, and that's all I've done for the past 7 weeks. But you have to make sure that you test your water every day. And, if something is very alarming, instead of doing a 50% water change, you may need to do a 70 or 80% water change. And a lot of people don't like doing water changes, and the ones, that I have found that don't like to do them are the ones that don't have water changers. And when you have an aquarium like, me, I don't just have one, I have 4. So if I had to get buckets and, do it the old-fashioned way, I would, continuously be doing water changes, and I don't have time to do that. So I purchased the Aqueon, I think is how you say it, water changer from my local fish store. It's about $50, but it's the best product I think I have ever bought. It saves me a lot of time and energy, and it's just great to have. I think mine is like 50 feet, and it reaches from my bathroom sink to all my tanks anywhere in the house. And all you have to do is screw it on to your sink faucet and put the other end in your aquarium, and with one flick of a switch, it will take water out of your aquarium and down your sink. And if you flick it the other way, it will put water into your aquarium. And that is the best thing I have ever bought. It is amazing. I think the other brand is Python, and that's very popular among fish keepers. Both of them really are, but I found that the Aqueon is just cheaper, and any way I can save money is awesome because this hobby is not cheap by any means, and saving money is just the way to go. So, and it works to me perfectly. I've used it every day pretty much for the past 7 weeks, plus I would say at least 3 times a week before that. So it does very, very well. I've never had any issues with it. But on to that. So you need to be prepared to do daily water changes. That's the big thing. If you have one of those, they're really not that difficult, and I can hook them up and do something else for 20 minutes until it's done. So it really doesn't take that much time. It's always important to check your water before you do the water change. because if you wait and then do the water change and then test your water, you're not going to get a good reading, which I assume that's just common sense. But if you didn't know that, there you go. So after you do that, it's really just a waiting game. You just have to change, the water and, do your water readings and just wait. And it's better, it goes a lot faster if you understock the aquarium. Like if I just had Spike in there, I probably would have got done a month ago. But when I saw that King Koi was having that special with the butterfly telescopes, I had to have them. I have a problem with saying no, and I had to get them. So I put them in there, and that, dramatically increased my ammonia and nitrate and all that. So I ended up doing like 85% water changes every day, but that's okay. It still worked, and it just took me a little longer. If you have just like 1 or 2 fish, it probably, would take you maybe a month and a half. But what are you going to do? So, mine is officially cycled, so it really doesn't take, as much time as you think. You just have to be willing, to do the water changes and, test your water every single day. That's really, really important. You don't want your fish to become ill. And you can also, if you're using Prime, which I do, I went through like so many bottles of Prime while I was doing this. It protects your fish from spikes, from ammonia and nitrate and whatnot. So you don't have to be super concerned. It's not going to affect them as much. As long as you keep, doing your water changes, it'll be fine. And also I add aquarium salt, 1 teaspoon per 10 gallons. That's what I use. I keep it in there regardless if I'm cycling or not. All my aquariums have salt, and that protects them from nitrite poisoning. So that's what I use that anyway. So it's not really, expensive. Aquarium salt's not, really costly. So I recommend having that. I don't think there's anything else about really cycling. You just have to, stay on top of your water and be prepared to do daily water changes. And, that's just how it goes. When you get done, you feel so empowered and like super proud of yourself, because it's been a long 7 weeks of testing water. But it worked well, and all the fish are happy, and they haven't had any issues with the cycling at all. So very happy about that. And very soon I will be, I'll have 2 other aquariums to cycle. Just when I got done with 1, but I really want some ranchu, and hopefully that'll be soon. So if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about in the next video, leave it below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. That will, keep you informed with every new video that I post. So hope y'all have a good day.